So we've got a JIGSTAR rod that is like no other. A three-part series. What are we talking about, Adam?
Well, we're going to get into the big sticks now. I mean, I told you JIGSTAR, we can do micro jigging, we can do the slow jerk. Now we're into the big fish. I mean, you want to go catch that trophy yellowfin, bluefin, marlin, swordfish.
Yes.
Let's do it. I mean,
yes.
This is really what excited me about bringing JIGSTAR to the U.S. because there's no rod series out there like the big sticks from JIGSTAR, which we're going to cover that with the Ninja, the Twisted Sister, the Battle Royale, and the Phantom, which will be coming. But to start, this is JIGSTAR's most popular rod in New Zealand. It is fished on all the guide boats over there. And if you look at some of the videos online of guys, there'll be 3 guys hanging onto one rod fighting these massive yellowtail kingfish over there. And it's crazy to see them. This
rod is already on my personal rack. But so what's so exciting about this?
Well, what you have here, basically, these are all Tory graphite blank rods. And if you think back of the days of the old Bertram trolling the big old white broomsticks with the big International, here we're doing that with a rod that weighs less than a pound. I mean, it's incredible. It's crazy. These rods are built for strength, power, lifting. Palming reel seats, grab on, but this is, this is getting it out of the rod holder and you fishing the rod. Whether you're fishing a jig, whether you're fishing a speed jig, mechanical jig, a slow pitch jig, there's so many opportunities that you can do with this rod, but unlike your traditional slow pitch rod, you can pull this butt off and drop this into a belt.
Oh, there's a gimbal.
There's a full-on aluminum gimbal.
So basically, this is designed to stick in the belt.
Yes.
Get your hand up here.
And full-on pull. And call all your buddies to help you.
Everything you got. To drag all the way down and just go.
Exactly. When these rods have a rating on them and they say they're PE ratings, this is a PE 4 to 8. So your 8 PE has probably got a break string somewhere in the 70 to 80 pound range. Right. Now most of your reels aren't going to be in that range, but put 30, 40 pounds of drag on this thing and you're going to be able to horse anything up to the surface.
You know what this kind of brings me to thinking about, we get a lot of calls from California and it's guys that they're going out on the head boats and they're looking for big tunas. But the thing is that they don't have the ability to stop the boat. The boat's not going to chase them. You're not on a personal boat. So they're going to get tired of you fighting the fish. Like you really need to break the will, per se, of the fish. So this would be kind of the answer for that.
Well, just the weight of these outfits are going to translate into less fatigue, more fishing, and more ability to fight a fish. And the design of these rods, again, these things are made, they're short. Anywhere from 5 foot to 5'8", depending on the series and models. The Ninja being the most popular series in New Zealand, it's a traditional guide system on this thing. You do have a reversed high foot guide, and what that aids in is, one, it keeps your line from hitting the blank, coming off some larger size reels, like if you wanted to use, whether it be like a Maxell 90 size or an Oshia Jigger 4000, or if you're going to put like a Talica or something on that you actually want to clip onto it. Keeps your guides up, and they're so close together, so when this rod's under max load, you're not going to have any line touching the blank. And this rod is meant to fight fish. This trigger is not meant to be a trigger. This trigger is meant to keep that rod from coming out of your hand. It is an anchor point for that. Now, some of the versatility of these rods is because of their size and their weight. Kayak guys love these.
Okay.
You want the Hawaiian roller coaster ride, you get on a kayak and you go catch yourself a tuna, this is the rod you want in hand.
It's a balance thing as well, because you're not, if your rod gets out a little bit, you're not going to tip over.
Well, I got to tell you, never fishing a rod like this in my life. I always fish longer bottom fishing rods and things like that. I have some neck problems and can't fish like I used to. I can't fish very long. These short rods really make it easy to fish in the lightweight. And there's so many different applications that you can do with this. I've caught everything from kingfish with live goggle eye to mutton snapper and bait to using the slow pitch jig, which you witnessed the other day,
yep,
to my favorite setup now is using a JIGSTAR with an electric reel that I've modified to be both a jigging reel, a deep drop reel,
and a bait reel.
And a bait reel. I can do everything on this rod. And I got to tell you, it's something that, you know, the versatility, the lightweight. You got guys out there with L&Ps on their boats spending $4,000 or $5,000 on an electric setup.
And you're doing the same thing with this.
And I get to hold it and feel the bite.
That's right.
So that's the other thing too about these rods. Being either graphene or Tory graphite, the sensitivity is unbelievable. It's not like the old fiberglass broomsticks where you had to wait for the rod to load to feel it.
Right, to know something's there.
So what we have in the series, you're holding the Ninja, the most popular rod that we have, and the price point's great on these rods. The Ninja is made in both the spinning and a conventional version. And both the spinning and conventional, they do have the gimbals. They do make an ultralight in this rod, which your ultralight would probably be for, say, a 70-pound tuna.
Okay.
So keep that in mind when you start start looking at the different series of rods here.
So this is like an orange and black.
Right. It's a beautiful matte black finish with orange trim on it.
And these grips, I mean, the grips are just really, the EVAs, feels real firm. It's like...
They're all turned, and everything there is on here for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's both for durability, longevity, grip. You're not gonna have these rods fly out of your hand. Now this here is a light, and this light is rated to 300-gram jig.
Okay.
So here's a rod that, again, you can do everything with. And also, if you want to get somebody new into jigging, who you don't feel comfortable giving a light setup to with light line where they have to finesse it, this is a great way to start. You can put them into a spinning rod. You can get them slow pitch jigging on this 150-gram rod. It's a nice soft action.
Right.
And
not something they're going to break in a day.
No. And then, you know, if it turns out they don't like the slow pitch jig, again, you got a kayak rod, you got a bait rod, there's so much versatility.
High-speed rod, high-speed jigging rod.
Yep. There's so many terms for jigging out there. High speed, fast pitch, mechanical jigging, long fall, slow fall, short fall.
I can't keep up with it.
It's crazy. But I'll tell you, here's a rod that I fished pretty much every jig known to man on this rod, all the way down to a bucktail jig for snook. And, you know, you can do everything with this Ninja series. Great price point. You want durability, Venice, Louisiana, California, Texas, Florida, this is a rod.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one.
Moving up from the Ninja series, we move into the meat stick.
Okay.
The Twisted Sister. This rod was made for one thing, catching monsters.
Okay.
Spiral wrapped. Look at how close these two guides are.
Oh, wow.
And the reason those guides are so close, it's a neutral wrap, bumper wrapped spiral system. But this rod is literally meant to be under massive load, and that is to make sure that you don't have any pressure points on your line at the angles.
Okay.
So that you have a clean flow and you don't have any specific pressure points. There's 3 models in the Twisted Sister. This one here is a 200 to 500 gram. It's rated 4 to 8 PE.
Oh, wow.
And again, with the Twisted Sister,
gimbal on the end.
you have the gimbal on the end, Tory graphite,
okay,
alkanite reel, alkanite guides, stainless steel frames. Really, really a great rod, a lot of versatility.
So in comparison to the Ninja, this is like the next.
It's very similar to the Ninja in terms of the blank design on this is a Tory graphite. This is a nanocarbon graphene blank,
okay,
where it's just a standard Tory graphite high modulus blank in the Ninja. So this rod's going to be lighter in weight, a little more sensitive, but in terms of power, you just look at the tips on these things. These are fat, thick rods. They're short too.
I mean, they weigh like nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you step up from here, basically you go from, here's your Mercedes. We're going to jump into the Bentley and Rolls next, which is the Battle Royale.
Okay.
Battle Royale series, Fuji SIC guides, all the top components. Graphene, high modulus, blank, nanotube, beautiful purple finish, traditional wrap, and it is not a bumper system.
Okay.
It is just a straight wrap.
Yeah.
And here's a rod that, from a weight standpoint,
Oh wow.
yes,
Incredible.
power to weight ratio. This is really the cream of the crop, the high end of the JIGSTAR line. If you want lightweight fishability and sheer power, especially if you're going on something like the Yankee Cap, or you're going on the Red Rooster on the West Coast, or you're going on a long range trip and you got days of fishing, you want that in your hand.
Yeah.
Look at these guys, yeah.
I don't feel like there's a fish I can't stop with this rod. I feel like its limitations are none. As far as the fish that I'm looking for, the tunas, big snappers, big groupers, big black groupers, whatever the case may be.
Well, think of longevity of you, again, just fishing.
Yeah.
And going on those trips. Again, I have a situation where I can only fish so much, and these rods are making it easier for me to fish. And then again, when you're hauling a kayak around and you got 3 or 4 rigs on your boat, every ounce matters, especially when you start putting fish in the boat. You know, you want lightweight performance. Here's a rod that will compete with the best rods in the world if it is not the best rod in the world. And if you want to go target a swordfish, whether it be on a jig or you want to do it on a hand reel, this is a rod you want to take.
Don't tell people my secrets, Adam.
Again, you got the gimbal, can be fought out of a belt. JIGSTAR, fish deep, big fish, Johnny Jigs is the place to get them.
So we've got one more thing to talk about when it comes to JIGSTAR, and that's their terminal tackle and their assist cord. So what are we working with here, Adam?
Again, JIGSTAR USA, we're new to the US, and Johnny Jigs is the place to get it. And as I told you before, JIGSTAR kind of starts where everyone ends. So you want to start catching big fish, and you start talking about jigs and jig tackle, and you start talking about hooks like this.
Look at the size. Guys, look at the size of this hook. That is incredible.
Now, I'll tell you, the markets that these products were made for, these fish are beasts. And I'll tell you, there's some neat stuff that JIGSTAR offers that actually was the reason that I found JIGSTAR years ago. Was I was looking for this grommet ring. And what this grommet ring is, it's a very unique piece. If you look, you have a grommet on a solid ring. And whether you take 200-pound, wrap it around there and crimp it, or you take 30-pound fluoro and you triple wrap it and you tie it and tie a uni, you have a section here that acts as a shock absorber, and it's going to be a lot less likely for you to break your leader. It's actually going to be stronger at that union in a lot of cases than the line. In addition to that, being free floating, you see how much action this gets?
Oh, wow.
Now, in addition to that, if you like to fish a swivel, they make a grommet swivel. And you can do the same thing with the grommet swivel. The swivel is a 2-pack, and the grommet's a 5-pack. So if you want to add more action to your jig, whether you're fishing a small jig, a big jig, it doesn't matter. And the nice thing about this is you can rig your setups directly to that solid ring,
Right.
Eliminating a potential weak spot with a split ring.
So the benefit of this really is not only are you getting better movement of your assist hook, but you're getting a better connection to your hook, to your jig, to your terminal tackle. Because obviously, you know, when I've spent a lot of time on the water, and the break points are always at your connections. That's where you're going to break off. So this helps to land the fish.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're using some of the stouter tackle outfits, especially with 50, 60, 80-pound braid, you don't have a lot of give. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll tie a chain knot on here, which a chain knot is nothing more than an overhand knot that reverses, and it acts as a shock absorber. So as you pull, it stretches, and this grommet allows you to create a shock point that actually is a shock absorber so that you don't snap off.
So you get the stretch here.
Exactly, and also having a larger surface area of which to connect your line, you're going to create a stronger union on your leader.
Right.
So again, less likely to fail. And as I said, I've used 30-pound tests where I wrap this 3 times, tie an overhand knot, and then tie my uni or whatever I'm going to tie to it to pull it tight. But you'll notice, just looking at this here, how much action you have, because this free swings on your line versus just tied to
Right, just
tied
tied
to a ring. So, you know, just going into the JIGSTAR terminal products, I don't want to go so deep. There's a lot of them. JIGSTAR makes everything from rings, grommets, gloves, you name it, across the board. And Johnny Jigs is a full-line stocking dealer, and if you want to tie your own rings, I got to tell you, or tie your old rigs, there's a combo pack from from JIGSTAR that Johnny Jigs sells that comes with your solid rings and split rings.
All in one pack.
All in one pack.
Who knew?
And there's 4 sizes. You basically have a small up to an extra large, so depending on what you're looking to do. And I got to tell you, these split rings, they're strong. I mean, you've seen I have trouble getting them open.
You stick your pliers in them and you gotta really give them a pull to get them open, but that's what I want. I don't want anything coming apart. I've had a lot of failure due to split rings over the years, and seeing these rings really is the answer to that.
And again, going back to strength and action, if you're not using the grommet but you want to get some more action, there's a solid 8 ring here. And what this is basically a stamped steel ring that allows you to make your line connection and has a solid ring there in the figure 8. And again, it gives you that more free range of swing. And think about it, a lot of these fish, when they come to hit that jig, they're inhaling that water. And you want those hooks to be able to float right up there and peg them in the mouth. You know, you don't want it. And that brings me right to my favorite accessory with the JIGSTAR line, their assist cord. And the assist cord, it's made both in a steel core,
metal core,
and a Kevlar. And the Kevlar is available in 4 sizes, from an extra small to a heavy. But what I like about it is the stiffness of it. I've had kingfish on here, king mackerel, U.S. kingfish, that have actually sliced these things. I've boated them and boat flipped them in here without it breaking.
Right.
And it's a rigid line. So again, when you're looking for that, you know, that action for this to be able to be inhaled and sucked into the fish's mouth, this is just a simple, you know, rig here that was tied with a single hook, double line, and one of the figure 8s. And
so you would tie right to the top of the figure 8 there, and that's it.
And then put your lure right onto that solid ring.
Yep.
And it's a great setup. It's a great system. But here's the biggest feature about this line. What I like over some of the others is when you tie it, you don't need to use shrink tube. You don't need to use glue. You can use a real simple knot. It doesn't slip. So when you pull it tight, it stays tight.
That's a great feature. So by metal core, what Adam's talking about is on the inside of the cord is actually woven, I think it's steel or metal inside of it. So toothy critters, when they hit it, the chances of them cutting through it all the way are highly unlikely.
Yeah, it's like having a wire leader with an assist cord.
Right.
So basically, the metal core line is available in a glow chartreuse, in pink, and all the Kevlar is available in red. And again, 4 sizes. Johnny Jigs has it. One other thing we didn't talk about that has been a game changer for me is the JIGSTAR gloves, as they're like a golf glove.
Right.
So very, very light. You know, typically I don't like to wear gloves because they hinder your ability to feel, but these are real light. But the big advantage is handling fish. And you know, sorry.
You don't get cut.
No.
You don't get cut, yeah.
No, the gills aren't going to cut you. Things like the rosies, those spines, when they stick you, you get these infections, and those gloves are just great for handling fish, in addition to saving your finger from braid cuts.
They have a full Kevlar coat on the top.
Whole palm is Kevlar. And Johnny Jigs has them in stock in both large and XL. And they're color-coded. Blue is large, or blue is XL, and red is large.
That's right. You can order it online. We'll ship it out the same day to you. You'll probably have it in about 2 days, depending on where you're at within the U.S.
Stick with JIGSTAR. Try it out. If you haven't heard them, go look for the videos. You'll see some crazy stuff. These aren't guys who are paid to go out there and film YouTube videos. These are guys out there catching monster fish, and there's guys holding the rod.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Adam, thank you for coming out and explaining JIGSTAR to us. We're really like, you know, a lot of my viewers, they really like the knowledge and just anything that they can learn about, you know, the build of the rods when it comes to jigging and the, you know, just the diversity of you know, different products that different brands have, but we're very excited about JIGSTAR.
Well, keep an eye out. Johnny Jigs and JIGSTAR will be doing some promotional videos on the Yankee Cap in September, and hopefully we can, you know, put some tight lines and big fish on these rods and really show what we can do with them.
Yes, we will. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You could also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget about our TikTok videos. And most importantly, jig on.
Yeah!